2, 1. I'm alive.
Recording in progress.
Okay.
Hi everyone and welcome to the Polygon Forest. I am Vin Hill, Ubisoft concept artist, joined as ever by Mr. Christopher Jarvis, the indie developer.
Hello.
Yep, bit of an awkward moment, but we just started recording and we forgot to turn the audio on because we're awesome. Anyway, but yeah, we
forgot.
I did. Okay, I did. Well, I didn't. OBS did. Anyway, that all out of the way. Yeah. Thank you for joining us. We appreciate it. Chris, we should probably tell people to subscribe at this point, right?
Yes, again, please subscribe. Please like the video. It helps with the algorithm. We appreciate it. Yeah. This feels like we've been doing this.
Yeah, deja vu, right? We've definitely done this before. But no, like all joking aside, we've just been through all this whole spiel of like, please subscribe and help us like build the algorithm, and then we just realized like, oh, there's no audio work.
Yeah,
great. No one
we're
can even hear
groveling
it.
to nobody. Yeah.
So it's just we're just miming at people about subscribing, which is great. But there it is. Anyway, but yeah, please help us sort of grow. We're at about 60 subscribers, which is like 2 new subscribers per video, which is great. Like we're enjoying like doing this. So.
I like that metric. That's good.
Yeah.
So every video we do, 2 people go, hey, I'm going to like that.
Yeah, or maybe 50 people liked us at the beginning and now everyone else is just hating everything that we do. You know, you got to...
Yeah.
Yep. That's depressing. But anyway, please hit the bell icon so you can be notified when we do go live. We normally go live every week at around this time. So if you're into video game talk and you like what we say, then please join us every week and it'll be great. And if you hit that icon, then you'll be notified when we are.
Yes.
Cool.
That's a good bit of groveling. Well
Indeed.
done.
Yep, grovel over. Anyway, Chris, what have you been playing, sir?
So I haven't been playing any Ghost of Tsushima, the director's cut, since I moved, but I have been searching for consoles and doing my own little indie game. I spent some hours on that over the weekend.
Cool.
It's been like over a month since I actually did any work on my indie game because it is
moved house, man. That's no big deal. One thing I did want to ask you about this, like you've moved into a new place. Have you got like a dedicated room to work in now, or are you still like off to one side in your living room or something? Because I know how much of a difference that makes.
Yeah. I'm still in my living room. I was in my living room before, but before it was a flat that was a living room and a kitchen and an office. So at least this is just a living room and nothing else. Well, it's a living room and an office. So
right.
Yeah, I'm in my front room. The front door is behind that door. So this is like the office and the living room. But because it's just me here, except when my boy's here, then there's no one that can like distract me or anything.
That's
but the TV and the sofa is there, so it does look quite inviting when there's some good TV on.
Yeah, that will pull you over.
And I'm going to get a nice desk because at the minute I'm on 2 different desks. So yeah, I'm still setting everything up. So once I've got a nice, pretty thing, I get a different chair with a better color.
You need a picture on the wall, like just to the left of your head there, like that's
there.
Right there. Yeah, something cool, video gamey,
something
maybe.
Gamey. Yeah, maybe something eco-y. I don't know. Who knows?
Yeah, it's what like.
I'll get that. Yeah,
right,
I'll get that.
There you go. That'll be depressing. But anyway, yeah. So you've been working on your game, you said. Like, how's that going? Are you steamrolling along?
Yeah, it's going well. I'm over 40 levels in now, so that's taken a bit of a leap up recently. So I'm nearly halfway there, trying to get to around 100 levels.
Right.
But there's a lot to that. It's as we've already discussed. There's about 98, 97 lines for the script, and each line is a level.
Yeah.
And I wanted a nice round 100 so that it'd be good for marketing purposes. But the story, I didn't want to stretch the story anymore. I was happy with the story and the lines as it was.
Yeah.
And so to add more, I felt would be working backwards and it would be padding for padding's sake. But on the flip side, I've been playtesting and I've been getting through the game real quick. And that's been a bit of an alarming situation because I don't want people to play it in like a couple of hours, considering that I've spent over a year on it.
Well, there's nothing wrong with that either. I mean, you look at games like Journey and Gone Home and things like that, and 12 minutes is another good example. Like, people play it in an evening, they enjoy it.
Yeah.
They don't have any qualms with it being too short, too long, or anything like that. So don't.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't focus too much on that. honestly.
I'm all for weekend games. The only thing is I've seen on Twitter is that people, indie devs especially, they're doing like short little weekendy games. People are getting near the end or completing it within a couple of hours and then refunding it because it's within the 2-hour window.
Yeah.
So they're playing the whole game and then refunding it and just like...
It's another weird system of the video games industry, I guess. Like,
Yeah.
we're still trying to
So
figure
it's
out.
like a little Steam thing.
Yeah. Yeah, that is tough, man. That's rough. But I don't know. I mean, you shouldn't be thinking too much around that. Like, you should keep it in mind. But like, for the purpose of your game, like if you're happy with the pace of it and you're happy with, the direction it's going into, then you shouldn't, like, outside influences shouldn't affect you too much. Otherwise, it'll steer you in a direction you might not want to go in altogether. So. And
especially because it's a puzzle game. Like, I can't not know how to do the puzzles because I designed it. Yeah. So like trying to play test, thinking like, oh, how do you get around this puzzle?
You just need a play tester, man. Find anyone that like you can sit down with and be like, all right, can you tell me X, Y, and Z? I'm potentially not a games developer either. Like, I would be a terrible person to test your game because I would have my own ideas and influences from that. But find a gamer, someone that you can dedicate go to every single time. Be like, okay, where did you get stuck on this? And like have them record the screen. Like, that's a really good. It's something that we do in house, like in a lot of game studios. Actually, is just not only do we record like the gameplay that they're playing, we'll record them, and they've even got like cameras that track people's eyes where they're looking at on the screen and stuff like that. Now, it sounds really creepy and like 1984ish, but like it's valuable information though, because you realize like, okay, they keep looking at this top left hand screen, and it's just like,
are they looking at the HUD?
Yeah.
Are they ignoring the HUD? Are they looking at the mini-map and not looking at anything else? Yeah. Or like different builds, like this one's got no mini-map, see what happens. Yeah.
And there's a lot you can gain out of that. So that would be my advice, is just find someone, man. Like, find someone that you can sit down on Zoom with and just watch them and watch the gameplay at the same time. Like, record the whole thing and then you can study it, almost, and try and figure out, okay, if that was way too easy, or this was way too hard, or this was just confusing, they didn't really know. So it helps.
People behave differently when you're with them in the room, and people behave differently when you're watching them and they know they're being observed, and people behave differently when they are told they're not being observed and you're just going to tell me what you think. And
another way around that is what I've seen other indie developers do. When they're getting closer to release, and like after they're past the stage of just doing game testing, like I was just mentioning a second ago, but when you're getting towards the end of development, you would send out a build to maybe 50 people, family and friends, and be like, okay, I need hardcore feedback, and here's a Google form that you have to fill out, and it's anonymous. Give me your honest feedback, and then if you like preemptively tell them, like, I need feedback, I don't need praise, I don't need to know if the game's good or bad, I just need to know how to fix stuff. Like, this is important, like X, Y, and Z. Like, explain the process of what you're trying to do, and like, okay, this is going to be anonymous as well, so do not hold back, sort of thing, because you need that honest feedback at the end of the day. And I'm totally
expecting there to be blaringly obvious things that are wrong with the game that I'm just totally blindsided to, and I'm totally anonymous to probably like the gems of the game or what makes it like appeal to some people. So I'm totally hoping to find both of those things through when the time's right. But I'm kind of getting ahead of myself because I'm like sort of nearly halfway through just doing some of the puzzles. So still a long way off, but I'm hoping to pick up Steam.
He's here all week, ladies and gentlemen. Sorry.
Because the further I go, the more I can like just take chunks of old levels and just whack them on to the new ones. And the same with the animations as well. Like, animations that I'm doing per level, I can just reuse them. So it's getting quicker and quicker, which is great.
Right.
And getting more and more complex as the game goes on, which is again what I wanted.
Awesome,
man. So I've kind of been rekindling that little bit, as well as moving in and doing all the bits and bobs and hive heating and all the boring grown-up adult stuff that you're like, when I'm gonna get my own house, I'm gonna get hive heating, and then you just come to it and just like, oh my god, this is a nightmare. This is an absolute nightmare on earth that's costing a lot of money. I hate this. But I digress. What have you been up to, Vin? You been playing any games?
Yes, I have. I did. I got back on the wagon, the game wagon, as I guess like is
Did
there
you fall off the wagon?
yeah, I guess I did for a little bit. I didn't really play any games like a good few weeks actually. I don't know why. It just I go through these phases where I prefer watching TV for a little bit, But yeah, I was browsing around through Game Pass at the beginning of the week. I was like, man, I need to find something to play that's gonna like sort of grab my interest. And I knew that this game got a like an next gen upgrade maybe a month ago or something. I was like, oh cool, this looks pretty good. Like still don't know anything about it. I'm gonna install it and try it out. But I ended up playing a Plague's Tale, Innocence, which is sort of it's like a double A action adventure game. It's kind of got elements of The Last of Us, but it's also like God of War. But it's that sort of, that's what the vision was, and it reminds me a lot of like Hellblade in terms of like the quality of the game and the storytelling and stuff. But man, I am loving this game. Like it's really good. Like I was actually really surprised by it because nobody really talked about this game when it came out.
When you posted on Twitter, I thought that it was a little mini game of The Floor is Lava,
right?
Except with rats.
It kind of feels.
And
like
I thought,
that
that's a cool little mini game, and I thought that was the only thing. But now you're putting it up on the screen, I can see. Oh, okay, yeah, it's not just that. It's not just a little mini game over The Floor is Lava with rats.
I was really surprised by how good this game looked, honestly, and even before the next gen sort of upgrades as well. Like it looks really good. The environments in particular are just really interesting to walk around in. The puzzles are good. They're not like groundbreaking or anything. They're very video gamey in that respect, but it's just a good game. Like is it a 10 out of 10? No. Is it like a 5 out of 10? No. It's like it's comfortably in the middle of just a good game to play. And it's a very good Game Pass game. The only complaint that I've really had about the game so far is like the animations can be a little bit janky, and that's about it. Like they can pull you out of like certain cutscenes and things like that. But past that, it's a great little game. Like I don't know why more people aren't playing this thing, but I've been really enjoying it.
Oh, cool.
Yeah,
it looks really cool. Yeah. So that's good.
Yeah, I mean they've got this really great mechanic of like how the rats sort of populate around, because if you don't know anything about like the game, it's about these two kids that are just basically trying to maneuver through this landscape, and there's a plague happening obviously, but there's other elements around it, like the girl that you play as has got her little brother with her, and the little brother's got like this condition, and they need to find a cure. Basically that's what they're going through. That's where like elements of The Last of Us sort of come in, but it sort of ends there with that. But
kind of sounds like Eco as well.
Yeah, a little bit, and it's got some of them elements as well, like where you're holding hands with the kid and stuff, and that brought me back to some Eco days where like you're trying to guide the kid through, and you've got to like let the kid go sometimes, and you like need to coax the kid over to you. It's like to get through certain puzzles.
Eco,
right? Yeah, it's like random shout.
Yeah.
It's great. Like it was a really interesting sort of dynamic, and like really ambitious game for, you can tell for like the size of the team or whatever. But like I'm really completely off my radar was the second game, which is Plague's Tale. I don't know. It's got another different name. The first one's called Innocence, and the second one's got a different title. I can't remember the name of them. So probably right. But completely off my radar when we saw like the trailer at E3. But now I'm just like, that's on my radar.
Getting into
completely.
It. Like,
And I rewatched the trailer, and I'm like, yes, this looks awesome and stuff. But yeah, really great. Like I said, my only complaint was the little bit of the janky animations, but you can totally look over that. I think people, if you've got Game Pass, like holy crap, you should install this game. It's awesome. Like everyone should try it out at least. Would I have paid full price for it? I don't know. But like if you're just like got nothing to play at the moment, I don't know why you would, because we're going into the video game season. But if you don't, then
that reminds me of something actually. We haven't spoken about this before, so this will be new to you. I was looking at Nintendo Switches because I saw there was a price cut because of the OLED Switch.
Cut? Like you mean what? £20?
I have no idea. Well, this is the thing. I thought, I heard there's a pay cut. Let's have a look and see how much they are on game. And oh my god, they are still so expensive.
For what they are really
For
expensive.
what they are, considering how much the next gen consoles are, like they're like 400 quid plus, aren't they? 400, 500 quid. These
Five.
were like for two games in a bundle. You'd expect, that, but the bundle price, like the games there seem like they're full price. It just seems like here's the price of a console and here's the price of 2 full games. That's a bundle.
Yeah.
That to me is not what a bundle is.
No.
And I was thinking, oh yeah, I'll get this. It'll be nice and cheap now. I can play it with my boy, and we can get into video games this way. It'll be something that can sort of occupy me until one of the next gen consoles are available.
Yeah.
But no, I was like, oh no, maybe not this month then.
Yeah, I mean, a Switch is the same price, I think, at the moment anyway. I think it's the same price as an Xbox Series S, which is the white, smaller, all-digital versions.
That's
shouldn't
just
be
ridiculous.
A thing, right? Yeah, I mean, if it was up to, if people are asking me, should I get the Series S or should I get a Switch, I would tell them to get the Series S just purely because of Game Pass. But the problem with the Switch, like, even if you find it at a lower price, like the actual console itself isn't really the problem with the Switch. Like the Switch itself is a decent little console. It's fine, like it's a little underpowered, yeah, but the games are where it is for Nintendo and stuff, and that's why people buy them, because they've got great games for all the family, especially if you've got a little boy. Like it's perfect for that. The problem is that the games never ever have sales almost, and they're really expensive games. The fact that Breath of the Wild is still full price, the fact that Mario Odyssey is still full price, like these games have been out for 3-4 years now, and it's just not. They're not getting cheaper, and they're never going to get cheaper.
I got the prices up here. So a regular Switch with the improved battery, new, with Super Smash Brothers and Luigi's Mansion 3, is $399.99, and it's 357.97 would be if I'd bought them all individually. So 400 quid or 340 quid or 358 quid.
Yeah, it's a lot of money, man. For what it is.
That's not a huge saving if I'd have bought them all individually.
Yeah, I mean, this is sort of comical because it reminds me of how Japan is when it comes to like bundle stuff. Like they always do this thing on like anyone that's lived in Japan will know this, and it's funny. But you can buy like one can of beer for a certain price for like say $2, right? And then you can buy all 6 for like $12, but it comes in a nice package. Like it's the same price, but they just put it in like a nice little handle. But anywhere else in the world, it would be like, okay, you get a bundle or a pack, and it gets a little bit cheaper, sort of thing. But like with Japanese stuff, I don't know why, but they just sort of, well, yeah, you can get the bundle, but you're still paying the same. It's like, all right, fair enough, I guess. But it's sort of, it's a really interesting, funny little thing.
How funny. So I'm better off. I might even get a second-hand console, and I might just buy second-hand games. Like just get it pre-owned. Just go to the shop and see what they've got pre-owned, and then buy the games pre-owned, and then just go down that route.
Yeah, I mean, the only saving grace for the Nintendo stuff is that if you buy physical games instead of going digital at all, then you will at least have the games, and the games usually
get the money back,
hold their value over time. Yeah. So, like in 10 years' time, when you sell your Switch with all its games, you get a decent chunk back. Like with the PlayStation or the Xbox, so you sell that in 10 years' time, you're probably you're gonna get pennies for them. Like you can go into eBay right now and find whole collections of PlayStation 4 games for pennies, pretty much.
That's true. That's a good point.
Not the case for Nintendo. So it depends. Like if you're planning to just keep your games forever, sort of thing, and you never get rid of them, you don't trade in. Then if that's the case, then you're gonna be shilling out a lot of money basically. But if you are a trade-in person, if you do go to game, you trade in your consoles, you trade in the actual games themselves physically, then it's not a bad investment. Like you'll get your money back.
But now it costs like 3 or 4 quid for me to park at Milton Keynes shopping centre,
which is the price of the game that you're going to get.
Yeah, so it's kind of stupid, and it's like I could have got that for less money if I'd bought it digitally, and then trading in you have to pay again, shell out more money. And
Nintendo have this weird dynamic because anyone else, when it comes to like PlayStation and Xbox, they have sales for digital games. The sales are significant enough for you to like warrant the buy-in of the digital version, not being able to trade that in later. Whereas the physical games are, for Nintendo, is just like, yeah, it's just this weird dynamic that people have to consider. But it depends if you're a digital gamer. It depends if you're a physical gamer. I'm all digital. I have been for a while. I don't regret anything. I haven't looked back. I haven't traded in a game in 10 years now, which, you know, which is good because like if I get the inkling to play an older game, then it's always there. But if I don't, then I don't. Like I get over it. Like I've supported the developers. I'm happy with that. Like that's my sort of piece. But to each their own. Everyone's an individual in that respect. So
yeah, it sucks that the developers won't get the money if I go second hand.
I mean, that's a whole debate and discussion.
That's a whole thing.
Yeah. There's a whole.
I'm not happy about that, but my bank account
won't
let me do it.
There's a whole thing where.
There's a whole thing.
Yeah, where if you trade in a game, then you might as well pirate the game in terms of like what the developer actually gets. You know, like that's the irony of it. But
yeah, that's
what it is,
isn't it?
Yeah, because we don't get anything from game. We don't get anything from GameSpot when you go and trade this stuff in. This is just.
But yeah, when you're an indie dev, like a dream is to have like a game on a shelf.
Right.
But why?
Yeah.
That's like taking money out of my pocket.
Exactly. Because they'll go and trade that in, someone else will buy it, they'll trade that in, someone else will buy it. So like 10 people play that one copy of the game and you've only got paid once from it. And if you're an indie developer and you've only put put it out for like £10 or whatever, then you're missing out on £100 rather than 10. So if it's all digital, then whole thing.
Yeah.
You know?
But then you go down the rabbit hole of would they have bought it?
Exactly.
Otherwise, no.
Right.
Yeah.
So there's all sorts of things.
That's a rabbit hole that was not part of today's.
Indeed. We should
discussion.
Move on. Yeah. Sam Webster's joined us. Hey Sam. Thanks for joining us. We should move on. What are we going to be talking about first, Chris?
Well, we've got delays.
We do have delays.
And Thor.
Delays, leak, and Thor. All right, let's just do it in that order then, I guess. Delays. Okay. There has been a lot of delays this week. Well, over the last couple of weeks anyway. It's been the year of delays, and I think the elephant in the room is the obvious thing, which is the reason why everything's probably getting delayed. People are dying and stuff, so that's probably a valid sort of reason to delay a game, I guess. But yeah, there's a
legit.
Few. Yeah, we've had a few delays though.
So what have we had? Battlefield been delayed.
Battlefield got delayed this week, which is sort of the thing that triggered this whole thing. And yeah, it got delayed into November, but obviously before that we had Horizon Forbidden West got delayed until next year, and then we had Dying Light 2 also got delayed this week, which is another big game.
Ah, you were looking forward to that, weren't you?
Yeah, I was, and I was very sad, but gotta let it cook and all that sort of stuff. And there's a lot of video game delays basically, which is what it is. So I was looking through the list of games that have been delayed this year. There's a lot of them, like more than usual, I would say. Like first we had Outriders, Returnal got delayed. That obviously eventually came out. Action Verge 2 got delayed. That eventually came out. Humankind, I had nothing on my radar for that. Deathloop got delayed many times. That was originally meant to come out in 2020, sorry.
That's a very big delay, 20 years.
Right.
2002.
That wouldn't surprise me. I did see a funny tweet from the Game Awards this morning. They're like, Okami came out 15 years ago today, and it said it came out in the year 206, and they forgot 2006. And everyone was just replying with jokes about Romans playing Okami. It was great. Anyway, yeah, it was awesome. But yeah, so Deathloop got delayed by a year altogether, I think. Skatebird got delayed. That game looks wacky. I don't know if anyone's seen that game. It's just a bird on a skateboard with headphones on. It's great.
Oh, I think I have seen that actually. Yeah, it looks fun.
Yeah.
What else? Hogwarts Legacy got delayed.
That got delayed as well. Kenna got delayed. That's out. I think that's out tomorrow actually. Kenna. Bridge of Spirits.
Yes, yep. Bridge of Spirits. A lot of buzz for that. I hope that's good because there's a lot of people a lot of buzz on Twitter. But it's based on not seeing much. Our style is carrying that hype at the minute.
Yeah, I mean, because the fact that Sony had a massive conference about that game and we just haven't heard anything about it, they didn't show it at that conference, that was a massive red flag to me. Like, as a developer, seeing that game just completely disappear off the radar was just like, why aren't they showing that? Why haven't they got confidence in this? And then I saw the random tweet last week, like, hey, only 9 days to go. And I was like, what? It is only 9 days to go. Like, why aren't they talking about this? So I'm a little bit worried for that reason, but maybe I'm wrong.
If the press is quiet, that's not a good sign.
Right.
Even if it's just budget, it's not a good sign. Sam, unsurprisingly, has mentioned Sonic Ultimate,
Of course.
believed to be released a year late, and it was still in absolute state on arrival.
Yeah.
So
lots of
that.
lots of delays. Basically,
The best one is Cyberpunk. Free DLC got delayed. Just like,
yeah, just stop announcing stuff, boys. You know,
just don't
learn your lesson.
Yeah.
And obviously, like this week we had Battlefield and Halo also got delayed until December 8th. I think that got shifted along. No, I don't actually know if that got delayed. I think it just got internally delayed and it was sort of reported. Anyway, lots of delays. And
Lord of the Rings Gollum, that one looks cool. I'm looking forward to that.
yeah, I'm still not sure about that because like unlicensed Lord of the Rings games always worry me. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like maybe that's just like the ringer in me. I could be wrong. It could be great. Like I'm still really nervous about the Amazon Lord of the Rings series that's coming out this year.
You worried about that?
I'm very worried about that because I just
You've seen the image of it?
I've seen the image. Look good, but it's a matte painting, and
it had the mountain going in the right way though. It had like the 5 spokes.
Yeah,
I'm a bit of a I've been
I've been geeking out, like seeing the Valor trees in the background and stuff. Like it looks pretty so far, but it's not Peter Jackson, so I'm always worried about that sort of stuff. But
yeah, fair enough. I'm worried about it.
Yeah,
it's because we're in that age now, and we're in that world where the stuff that we get hyped about is a bit of a disappointment, and it's the hidden gems that we're not hyped about that it's good. Just seems to be.
Yeah, that is the weird world that we live in. But I guess like the main conversation which I want to really have about this is just like release dates in general. Like we're getting really, really bad at this, and it's just like anything can delay us.
Yeah.
Like when it comes to developers and stuff, and this is a prime example. Like we've had a global pandemic this year, and we kept putting all these trailers out, and everyone's getting excited. It made me think about this whole system that we've got set up about how we announce release dates and how we like communicate to our fan bases and stuff, like what we should be doing, what we shouldn't be doing, and this just like shines a massive light on that, just how much worse this is getting. Because I don't know if it's just me, but like every year it feels like there's more and more of a delay, or there's more and more delays, I should say, not more of a delay, but more delays in general. They
seem to be getting more and more common, but obviously for that good reason. But there were delays beforehand, and so those would be compiled. So there's COVID reasons and there's other reasons, and so they're all being compiled, and we're seeing it in the movie industry as well. But that leads me on to your point that you said prior to the show, which is, well, you can say it though. I'll let you say it.
Yeah, I mean, like my theory anyway, I should say, is just like we need to start taking a leaf out of like the movie industry book. Like the way that movies are announced, like when we see trailers and stuff like movies, like we know that they're getting worked on for whatever reason. Like production companies announce that, hey, we're working on this movie. No one even considers a release date at that point. People just know that it's getting worked on. And then when a movie is actually shown for the first time, it's usually in the form of a teaser trailer or just a full trailer. And when a full trailer comes out, it always the trailer always starts out, and everyone knows this, but it starts out like this summer, blah blah blah. And then,
this holiday season.
Right, this holiday, this all...
Very vague.
Right.
Yeah.
Extremely vague. And this is great. I love this because it means that we're not setting these crazy expectations for, okay, I need to take this day off work sort of thing. Because that's sort of what they're accounting for at this point. And it's very strange to me that we're still doing this hyper-specific release date stuff when every other industry doesn't really do that often. Like, music is even crazier. Like, they just literally... Oh, the album's out next week. What? Okay, dope, I guess. This is cool. Like, why don't we do that with games? I know things leak and stuff like that, but like if leaks happen, or like we can announce a game without announcing the release dates. I would really like to start seeing games be a bit more vague about when a game is coming out, so it gives it a bit more breathing room in that respect.
Could the argument for an actual date be that it... you can actually get metrics down to the day with marketing budget spent up until that day, and they know they can see the return in when you've got a date, letting people know for 6 months or so towards a specific date that people do make, like gamers will take the day off work so that they will get more money that before the weekend. Whereas in the film industry, you know, it's that weekend release, you know, it's that weekend that they look at the figures and the stats for. They don't necessarily look at the day that it opens in the cinemas. Could that be a reason why
Absolutely.
it's different?
I think there's obviously a lot of backdoor business stuff with this. Like it's not so cut and dry that we can just say, okay, this is why we should do this and this is why we should stop doing this. Like there's obviously a massive grey area of like really messy stuff in the background that happens. And but it just feels like the list of stuff, which is sort of like the points that are like pro is sort of like specific release date stuff, not as important as like the stuff keeping it vague. Because the problem that we have for the moment is that when a game gets delayed, actually quite a lot happens in the background in terms of like the actual development cycle of how a game is put out. When we delay a game, it automatically pushes back all of the pre-orders for a game from the specific platforms. So if you pre-ordered a game because it's got an official release date, it automatically cancels that pre-order and gives you your money back straight away. Like it doesn't even. It's just.
It doesn't even roll over.
Yeah.
Oh.
So it's just an automatic thing. Because like if a game delays happen, then there might be changes to the game, and it's just a really weird policy to me, which I've never really fully understood why they do that. Obviously there is reasons for it. Like I'm not disputing that, but like we should be fixing this in a way to sort of stop this culture of like, oh, we need to announce a specific day. Especially like when we're looking at games like at E3, when we're months and months and months out, and we've given these specific dates for like, okay, it's going to be out on November 26th, we promise, and then it's not out on November 26th. Like
that's a terrible trailer,
right? Exactly, and it happens every time. Every time, like, and it happens every single year, and it's like, when are we ever going to learn our lesson about this? And it's something that is really sort of starting to annoy me, especially this year. Like we've had so many big games just get delayed out of either their month windows or whatever. But the benefit of having it in like a season, if we say, okay, this holiday sort of thing, it means like, okay, if we aim the game to come out at the beginning of holiday, if the game needs like an extra 2 months, then it's still technically within that window and it's fine, as long as it's out before Christmas sort of thing. If it's out in the winter, then we can extend that over like a 4-month period, like on either side of the year and stuff like that. And there's so many things we could play with, because like as soon as a game gets delayed now, it automatically means, okay, it's because the game's broken, it's because they need to fix something, it's because something's changed, and it's just bad press, and it puts it down.
Or just bad time management.
Yeah.
Like you're not good at guessing how long stuff's going to take, and nothing went wrong.
Yeah, or it could just be a business decision in the background, which has got absolutely nothing to do with the game's development whatsoever. The game might be finished. It's just they're looking for the better window for it to come out, and that happens all the time. And it's extremely frustrating. But the thing that this does the most, it demoralizes the developers. Like, it just completely takes the wind out of their sails. Like, oh, man, we've got a delay. This sucks. Okay.
Especially if the game's done, ready to go, because it's like, what's the hold up? Like, you think you get more money if you release it later when it could be, could be making money now. That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, and there's a lot of that happens
on the layman.
Because especially like if they've got multiple game projects within their sort of publisher umbrella, and they're trying to shuffle these things around so everything hits at good times to bring in more revenue for them. This stuff happens all the time, and it's just very strange to me that we keep putting these specific dates, because inevitably what happens is we announce a load of stuff at E3, and then within a month of E3, so by the start of August, we're already saying, okay, this has been pushed back, this has been pushed to next year, this has been pushed, this has been pushed, this has been pushed.
Yeah.
And it's just odd to me that we don't like take a leaf out of the movie industry's book.
Just be more vague and you'll be less updates.
Yeah.
And at least to the people, to the consumers, there'll be less upheaval, and it won't seem as much like a postponement. Because if you've got like a 3-month window like this summer, then it could be, like you said it before, they're probably aiming for the beginning of summer, and then if it gets released at the end of summer, they've not misled anyone and they've been accurate. And then if they're 1 or 2 months late after that, then it's only 1 or 2 months late from when they said. Whereas if they'd given us a date of like, the first of when is summer? May?
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's beginning of June.
March,
I think.
April.
I don't
June.
know. Anyway,
1st of June. Yeah. If the release date originally is the 1st of June and then it comes out August, September,
yeah, then it's technically still.
Doesn't look good.
The thing is, like, when a game goes gold, it usually goes gold about a month and a half, maybe 2 months before a game is released. So, like, once a game goes gold, like, the rules should be from the publishers anyway, like from the platform holders, the people that actually allow this sort of stuff. Like, you can't you can't announce a release date until you've gone gold, until you've got a gold master that you've submitted to us. That should be the rule, in my opinion. But, you know, who knows, like, if that'll ever happen. I don't know if we ever will learn our lesson from this, because this is going to keep happening. It's only going to get worse, especially when these games get more and more complex and bigger. Because this is I was joking about this at the Sony stream, but when Spider-Man 2 got announced, and it was like 2023, it's like they've got no clue when that game's coming out. Not a clue. Yeah. Like, they just don't. Like, they're not even in production yet, and they're saying 23. No,
they've done the trailer. They've had a unit working on the trailer, and that's it. Like, there's nothing playable. Probably there's nothing they can. Yeah.
Just like
the trailer was not in game. It's got nothing to do with the game engine.
Yeah, and we do that with films as well. Like, we could just say, "Coming soon." Done. Like, if people ask questions about it, that's good. Like, people are buzzed, people are happy, people are hyped. Good.
Yeah,
that's cool.
Well, I'm definitely not going to give a specific date when I'm coming up to near the end. I'm going to give a month or a season or
January 27th. That was what you told me, right? So everyone, write it in your calendars. I'm joking.
You can't even wish list it, so it's fine. Don't worry about it. I'm not even at that stage yet. I'm not even at the wish listing stage. Yeah, I love how Rachel and Sam have just been like having their own little chat. I can't even see where that left off. I think it's about delays.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
But Sam just mentioned as well, actually, didn't Cyberpunk 2077 get delayed after it went gold? It's like, yes, it's because that game wasn't finished, man. Like, that's why. Like, that's a great
still
example.
Not finished.
Yeah.
Still not finished.
That is a great example of a game that has got way too much marketing power and it's got way too much momentum, like, to the point that you can even delay a game.
Totally a disjoint between the marketing and the production. Like, there was no way those two could be in sync for that to happen. Yeah.
And that is just such a unique case. Like, we can't really take that as an example of.
Luckily, that's isolated and that's not the norm. But it's not great sign that studio, in terms of releases, seems to be going backwards with their quality when it comes to, like, the playability of a game, like game crashes, things like that.
Yeah.
Their history is that they're getting worse with every release.
Yeah, I mean, I would argue that CD Projekt Red have always been that way. Honestly, it's just people have been sort of always give them the benefit of the doubt, and this is the first time that everyone sort of stepped back and looked at. Because The Witcher 3 was a hot mess when it came out, like a hot mess. Like, if you go and look at the footage or the coverage of that game when it first was released, people were complaining about a thing, but they said, yeah, but despite all of that jank, like, the game is actually really great.
Yeah, they're great at making, like, the games are good.
Without a doubt. Like, that goes without saying. Yeah.
I love The Witcher 3. It's great fun. But, in terms of playability and jankiness, getting worse.
Yeah. So, I don't know.
It's cool that they're independent things.
Right. I think, like, what this comes down to is, like, I wish the platform holders, people like Sony, Nintendo, and Xbox would have a bit more of a hammer when it came to this sort of stuff. Like, there's way too much free reign for developers over this sort of stuff, where there needs to be a quality check for all of this. Like, okay, if the game is busted, or it's like, if it's way too early that you've announced it, sort of thing, or if pre-orders are too specific to a release date, then they just need to, like, reevaluate all of this, in my opinion. I think there needs to be, like, a slight revolution for how we actually certify games and when we announce them and things like this. But it's all part of the same conversation in that respect.
Yeah, I mean, to me, you can start slowly with things that people all agree with, and then work backwards until we get to, like, an equilibrium. For example, like, I mean, maybe not even a whole blanket no game breaking bugs, but, like,
right, of course,
no mission, no like side mission can stop progression of the main campaign. Like, if that exists in the game, you're not allowed to release
I mean,
it. And if you release it, you get a fine or something.
It's the way that it should be, and the way that it is technically. It's just they sort of let it go too often, which again they need to reinforce this sort of stuff. But any game crashes that happen to dashboard, like if your game breaks and you get an error code or it like kicks you to dashboard, should be fail certification right there and then. Done, fixed. Sorry, go and fix it, and then come back. Like, sorry, but like this is the rules now. Like, they need to have that sort of accountability of like, okay, this is a product you're trying to put out. If this is a reoccurring bug to the point that it's breaking the game and it restarts the game, like you can get really subjective about what is a bug and what isn't a bug for the most part anyway. If like a side quest like stops you from progressing and stuff like that, like technically the code is still running, so the game is still technically running, and you could get around a lot of that, but.
Yeah,
I guess
you can't argue that it's a feature.
Right, exactly. But if a bug happens and it kicks you to dashboard, then that is objectively a bug that needs to be fixed.
If it's a single player campaign game where there's no multiplayer element with like servers and stuff, then totally, I totally agree with that. Yeah, they should enforce that more. Didn't know that existed already. Yeah, you would probably know more about that than me.
Oh, you will learn, sir. You will learn. Like when
I will learn.
Yeah, and it's fun. Oof. Oh, you're gonna have so much fun.
Yeah, I'm not looking forward to like trying to test it on different things and seeing if it works or doesn't work. I'm like, because I don't have thing. I can test it on the stuff I got, but I can't really test it on stuff I don't have.
I mean, that is the good thing about the new consoles. Actually, you can switch them over to development modes now, so you don't. I don't know if the PlayStation 5 is like that. I'm pretty sure the PS5 isn't. I think you need a dev kit for the PS5, but the Xbox is fantastic for that. You can literally switch it to development mode, and you can just put anything on it. That's actually like what people have been doing recently. Not to advocate this at all, but there's been people that have been buying Xbox Series X's and Series S's just for emulation, and they switch it to dev mode, and then they can run RetroArch on it, and it's like they're playing retro games on it, and it's fine. Like it runs great, sort of thing. Yeah. So like a load of people are doing that. That's how open it is when you switch it to developer mode. But it does cost, I think it's like a one-time fee of like $20, or it'd be like £15 or something for a lifetime thing. So you just buy a license for it, and then you're quote-unquote a developer. Yeah, really, really cool. Like I wish more people would do that, especially someone like Sony, because you have to get a dedicated dev kit from Sony. So, oh well.
So to recap, don't put dates on release dates.
Yeah. I mean, delays happen. There's nothing wrong with that. Like this is parts of the course.
No one's surprised by that at this stage.
Yeah. Like delays happening is not the problem here. It's the things around it, like the announcing it, and just like how. Yeah, just stop announcing release dates, man. Like,
isn't it funny? We're in this world where there's an alternate universe where Cyberpunk is the greatest game that ever existed because they delayed it and then COVID hit, so they had it even longer because they had the perfect excuse once COVID hit, but they released it before.
Yeah, that is fun. Yeah.
We'll never know. Well, we might know, but it might be 2077. That we do know. I think so. I'm stealing Sam's joke. I think he put that in the comments.
All right. Anyway, let's put that one aside. What are we talking about next?
Leaks. You're leaking, Vin. Sort it out.
There was a leak.
Well, not you, but I was doing a joke about you wetting yourself. Yeah. But yeah.
Oh, I see. So like a urine leak. Okay.
You're leaking. Yeah.
You're
as a person.
Urine leaking. You're leaking. That might be the worst joke you've ever said so far, actually. 25 episodes in, that's definitely up there.
Oh.
It's got to be up there. Anyway.
There's been some leaks.
Yes, there has been some leaks. A huge leak, actually. I'm not going to go into the content of the leaks too much, but I think they're real. Like, just based on sort of my understanding of the industry and how this sort of stuff works. But basically, there was a quote-unquote leak from GeForce Now, and if you don't know what GeForce Now is, it's very much like a PlayStation Now, Xbox Cloud, Game Pass stuff. So it's basically you can stream gameplay from a server, but it's sort of NVIDIA, their version of this, and you can primarily do this through the NVIDIA Shield, but you can also do it through an app. Same thing, but the way the Shield sort of set up is very much split in half almost. Like, so half of it is very public. Like, that's like you can subscribe to it. It's like $5 a month or whatever, and you can. The good thing about PlayStation Now anyway is that you can hook up your Steam account, so you can actually just play games that you've already got in your Steam library, but without downloading them, which is great. So there's all that cool stuff, which is good for gamers. But on the other side of that, like a lot of people have been using it on the development side to sort of test their games internally. So because everyone's working from home now, there's a lot of developers out there.
Everyone's uploading their code and stuff through that.
So they'll upload a build
service
to the private servers within GeForce Now, and they have like a deal with Nvidia or whatever. It's not everyone is doing this. Everyone uses different things. Like there's all kinds of them out there that you can.
There's a huge list. I mean, it's like there's a lot of people using it by the looks of it.
Yeah, and the problem is that because all of this is the private side, so like each team has got their own development sort of bubble that they're working in, and they can just upload the build, and then everyone within their team can play it through streaming without having to download the build on their personal computers at home. It avoids leaks. It avoids like any security issues. Like in theory, it's a great idea. It's very quick. Yeah. Like you don't need to install or download anything. Like it's instant. Awesome. This is great. Problem is that one of the developers that was working on one of these games is able to data mine the internal servers, and he leaked out a list of games, code names of games that are currently in production, like of all the teams that are using this sort of thing, of the whole network web of private users within that side. And there was a massive leak of just a list of games, basically, of what everyone's working on, which is very disappointing, and it's very sad, and it's depressing for developers. We're not gonna go into details on the leak.
Yeah, we're not gonna say what the games were, but there was a big list.
I just wanted to mention this, like in terms of as a developer like this, it seems creditable just purely based on some of the code name titles and stuff. Is because something that you do see a lot is that even before a game's even being greenlit, and I was mentioning this to you, Chris, sometimes you'll see like the IP name, and then it'll always be followed by the suffix of next. So it's, for example,
does that mean sequel?
Yeah, normally. Well, not sequel, but it's within that IP, and that's a very common sort of code name that's used a lot internally.
Right.
So it's like IP name and then next, then you know that it's like, okay, that might be real. And there's a few of those in this list, and when I saw that, I was like, yeah, that seems real. Like some of them just feel real. There's a lot of remasters.
It looks like
a
wish list, and remasters, because we were expecting a lot of remasters to be announced over the E3 season. Which didn't come, and so I had a glance at the list and then stopped watching because it did feel like things were getting spoiled for me, and I don't want it to come from a list from like a hacker basically. I want the announcements to come from the the devs in the way that they want to release that information.
Yeah, so if you're
usually for a trailer and stuff, so
if you're interested in the list and you want to go and check it out, then that's your own prerogative. We're not going to talk about here because I like Rachel just said, leakers are scum. Like I kind of agree.
I read that. I was like, "Whoa!" And she said, "Yeah, was that too harsh?" No, I mean, yeah.
It depends on your perspective.
It depends.
Because there's this whole I remember I was watching a video the other day from one of the tech YouTubers. I can't remember his name. Marquez Brownlee or whatever his name is. Christ, I can't remember his name. But he was talking about leakers like within the Apple sort of community, and I kind of fully agree with him in that respect. Like there's this weird sub-community of people that look at leak culture as like a piece of entertainment, basically. Like, oh, so-and-so leak, let's go and look it up, and they're discovering stuff, and it's all fun and games for them guys. But on the developer side of it, it's actually it's a massive toll. Like it's a mental struggle. It's the fact that like a leak happens, like it can actually really harm your company because stock prices either go up too early and then they go down because hype's been disrupted for a project which you're due. And it's a very careful balance of like when you announce certain things and when you show certain things, and if it just gets leaked early, then it sort of, without sounding too gross, blows your load too soon in that respect. But yeah, it's very much that sort of thing, which I don't like leaks. I've never liked leaks, and when I see a leak happen for any company, not just the companies that I happen to work for, I feel sad for them, because it's like that's a blow to the developers that are working on it. They're just like, man, like we had this perfect trailer lined up. Like when we were showing when I was working on Watch Dogs Legion, we had this amazing CG trailer set up, and the whole time, like, we saw this trailer like 6 months before it was due to get shown to the public, and we were just sat there like, man, we really hope that we get to show this trailer when the time.
And that there's no leaks.
And there's no leaks. I mean, there was like little bits of leaks. There always is, but no major leaks to the point. And when that trailer like hit at the right time, it was like, yes, like it felt great. And we shouldn't be worrying about that sort of stuff. We shouldn't be sat there freaking out like, is the game gonna get like shown too early? Like, are we gonna be able to show this at the right time without it being like mismessaged or anything like that?
Yeah.
And there's a lot of that sort of dance that happens, and it's really depressing when that gets disrupted just by some stupid kid online that just wants to have his little moment in the sun, you know. Like, it's horrible, but it is what it is.
Rachel's put that no one thinks about the people behind it that are being affected. People don't think about you, Vin.
People don't care about me, to be fair, but I understand. I don't care about me either, so it's all good.
I care about you, Vin.
Oh, thanks, Chris. I appreciate it. Oh, you're so sweet.
I mean, that's one of the reasons I don't ask you some questions, because, well, one, I know you can't tell me, and two, I don't want to know because I want the surprise to be there.
Yeah, it's like I get like the whole like wanting to see behind the curtain. I get like the wanting to like reveal the Wizard of Oz. You know, they want to pull that curtain back. Like, haha, it's a fat old guy with stupid computer levers. You know, that's all it is. Sort of.
Yeah.
But like when they pull the curtain, actually, there's like 700 developers on a team that are all sat there exhausted, like really excited about this thing, like finally getting shown at the right time. And you've revealed it, and you're like, haha, look at all these stupid people, and they're just there like, why the hell do we do this for a living if like people don't care and all this? And it's such a weird culture of like leak culture, like Marcus Brownlee says. Like, it's such a great example of that. Like, people are more interested in the processes of games development but they remove the human element from it, you know. Like, there's this weird sort of like, they think this just happens by itself.
They think it's like mining like diamonds or something, and they're just trying to find the diamonds. They don't realize that
it's a sport at the end of the day, and
it's an art made by artists,
right?
But apparently Rachel, your wife, cares about you, Vin, so
well, that's two people. That's two.
Yeah.
So
we
progress.
Got two.
Progress.
And Sam has not commented on whether or not he cares.
I don't blame him, to be fair. That's 2 out of 3. I'm good with that. It's all good. But yeah, basically, leakers suck. If you want to go and see the list of leaks, then you can do. But like, I just wanted to mention this because it like the processes of it have sort of been lost in the coverage of this. That just everyone's excited about the leak list itself, but they don't realize like why NVIDIA's got this list, why this is happening. So I just wanted to sort of put some context to that and why it sort of sucks as well. But,
so it's not just the bottom line. It's not just money. It's also like that special thing about being a game dev, and that thing that, you know, because you've all got NDAs. You know, you can't talk about stuff. You're all signed by contracts. You're not legally allowed to mention stuff, and that is all because it keeps it special. Like, I mean, yes, there's the bottom line, but on top of that, it keeps it special for people. Like, that's something that I've been thinking about. Like with my game, I was like, should I be letting people know this? Should I be letting people not know this? Like, what do you put in trailers? What do you leave out? What do you keep as a surprise?
Yeah.
And it's a tricky one. It's a tough like line to draw.
It's a dance that you have to do with the gamers as well, but it's just the whole dehumanizing of the games industry and how games are made is very bizarre to me.
It's like people, again, like you said it before, like games are a privilege. They're not a commodity, and people treat them like it's like a right. And they talk like they're entitled, and they're just really not.
Yeah, I mean, we'll have a whole conversation. We'll have a whole conversation about the like the culture around like how video games have, like the video games industry has become its own sport almost, and there's teams and there's people arguing amongst themselves about like Team Xbox and Team PlayStation. Like, we'll talk about that one day. But that's just a whole thing which grinds me more than anything as a developer, is seeing that sort of grow over the last sort of 10 years more than anything. Is just it's depressing as hell. Like, it actually makes me not want to work in the games industry sometimes because of that sort of stuff. And this is sort of a part of that. I think we are getting towards a point now where game leaks and stuff like that is sort of getting viewed more as a spoiler, like we do in film. Like in films,
Yeah.
we don't get excited when like the ending to the new Star Wars movie gets leaked. You know, like nobody
Yeah.
does that. Like if it gets leaked, then people are like, oh, that sucks that the script leaked. And
Yeah.
that's the attitude towards it. Like, oh, that sucks for them that it leaked. It sucks for the fans that it leaked. But we don't do that with games yet. Have you noticed that?
Interestingly,
Very weird.
to bring it around to Sam as well, when the script for Sonic got leaked, people were hyped because it gave away some of the characters that were going to be in Sonic 2.
Yeah.
So that's interesting. But I think that's different because that's the IP and it's the movie of the IP and it's a kids film and it's
that's about reoccurring characters and stuff and characters that you already know and things like that. Which
that was good news.
Yeah.
So that was like the good news
take it
story.
out of context too much. But if Sonic died in the next movie and that came out in the script and that leaked, you'd be pissed. You know, that sort of thing is So that's the. I mean, like when The Last of Us Part 2 is a great example. When
The Last of Us Part 2. Yeah, when that leaked, everyone was upset, and rightly so. It was you shouldn't be putting that stuff over Twitter. That's not cool.
But
But
anyway,
when the game's just announced and people haven't got a chance to play it, you hate that.
Yeah. Anyway, we should move on to another.
We'll move on.
Controversy. I don't know if.
Let's move on to Thor's body.
Like I don't know anything about this story, so you're gonna have to tell me. You're gonna have to fill me in with this one.
So basically, there's been a bit of a Twitter kerfuffle. Some probably millennials. I'm gonna say. We are millennials, aren't we? So I can't. Oh, I don't know. Anyway,
it's
younger people than me, probably. I'm guessing. Probably men. Probably guessing. Weren't happy when. Have you seen on Twitter these? You've got it up on the screen. I love this, by the way. When they got the actors to do the tweet, well, they didn't get the actors. I don't know if they got the actors or not, but the actors playing the characters in the new God of War game, Ragnarok.
Oh, they got to announce their character, sort of thing.
Yeah,
that's great.
Or like reoccurring, like I'm so proud
definitely
to be
set
doing
up.
this and that.
Absolutely set up.
Oh yeah. But I loved it. I just loved that stuff. Like I was love hearting that. And we get to see the key art. Is this key art for Thor, I guess?
Yeah, it's just character art. It might be
character art. And it looks awesome. And all the characters just look awesome. It's some of the greatest character artwork.
Top of their game.
It's top notch.
Yeah.
And the actual design as well of the character just looks awesome, I think. Just instantly, there's so much going on. We just like, this is going to be a good game.
But this is what Twitter was talking about, right? They were talking about how awesome Thor looks and like how cool he looks and stuff.
No, there were some millennials that weren't happy that Thor's got like a beer belly and that he's proportioned in that way because in their mind, Chris Hemsworth is Thor. So they were like, "Where's his chiseled six pack? And where's his good looks? He's supposed to be a god. Why doesn't he look like a god? He just looks like a guy down the pub that's got a hammer." Okay. And then there were people coming to the rescue, saying, these are artists. They're doing their they're taking liberties from Norse mythology, and this is their interpretation, and they're telling a story, and they're taking loads of stuff and changed it all around. Gods aren't gods. Some gods are doing this. Some gods are doing that. Gods die. In the last video games, and so they're taking liberties with the story, and they can take liberties with what the characters look like.
So the basic sort of thing is that Thor is too fat for them.
So Thor is fat, yeah. So they're fat shaming Thor basically, and then you had some bodybuilders on there and you had people going on that. Well, and then someone was like, when you see bodybuilders and they're looking all ripped and buff, they're at their weakest because they're dehydrated. And like when you look at strongmen competitions, they're nice and not plump, but they're hydrated, so they're not rippled on their six pack. They don't have six packs. They've got like one big muscle. It looks like. Yeah. And when you're like looking at the mountain from like Game of Thrones, he's not ripped. He's just big and bulky, and strong. That's strength. And so you had people, trying to give as if it was reality, like as if it was real and not gods that are made up an artist's
I love
interpretation of a made-up god.
That's hilarious. No,
So you had people having this argument.
The juxtaposition of this argument just cracks me up more than anything. It's because we went through this whole thing of Gamergate of like women are misrepresented in games.
Yeah.
They look like these
That's
sexual
true.
goddesses, and then we're like, okay, cool, we'll make normal looking girls. That's what we started doing. That's great. That's all good. And now we're doing this with guys, and they're like, no, it needs to be more chiseled. It's like,
yeah.
He looks too much like my dad, sort of thing. And it's like, what? Like, this is so backwards. Like, stop being hypocrites and just like, what do you want?
Yeah,
that's great.
That's true.
And
it probably is I think it's probably the people that like the big boobies on the video game characters that probably like the chiseled Chris Hemsworth look. I'm guessing.
Yeah. Again,
I'm doing a lot of guessing on this podcast. I haven't done my research. I do apologize, but it's because
it's just ludicrous. Yeah, it's weird. I mean,
it's ludicrous. Like, to talk about how that character actually is powerful and does look like a god because of these reasons is just silly.
Yeah, we're talking about Norse mythology, right? Even if you were to put that in a context of history, which you shouldn't anyway, because
it's not.
I'm completely sick of this argument as well. Like I've been fighting with idiots online about like how Assassin's Creed is no longer historically accurate. Hasn't been historically accurate for the last 3 games. They've been saying it's mythology for the last 3 games. Mythology is not history.
Yeah.
Argument over. Like, done, fixed. Shut up. Leave me alone.
Yeah.
Anyway, but like the whole Norse mythology thing, like that, the Norse myths were probably spoken and written down like over 2,000 years ago, at least, maybe even 3,000 years ago. 3,000 years ago, what was the body type for the average man? Do you know, Chris?
Very short, I'm guessing. And
you don't know.
Nourished?
You don't know, right? Because I don't know.
I don't know.
Nobody knows. No.
All right.
Like, we don't know what was considered sexy or what wasn't. Like, even in the Tudor times in England, which was in the 1500s, like 1,500 years later, fat was considered sexy.
Yeah, because you could only be rich.
Exactly.
You had to be rich to be
You had to
fat.
be rich.
Yeah.
That means you had money. If you had money, then you had food. If you had food, then you were fat. Therefore, fat is sexy. Like, that is the lineage of thought process.
Same for pale, because if you were inside and you got pale, that was sexy. Because if you're out in the field and you got tanned, that was not sexy.
Yeah. So, like, people are saying, oh, Thor doesn't look sexy enough, but Kratos is like this bald, triangle-looking dude that's like pale white with ash all over him, no hair.
I mean,
like he's the weirdo, you know. Like when I don't know.
I think that's sexy.
Why?
Dusty buff guy.
He does look like he went. You know the strongmen at the Olympics. You know where they put that white powder on him.
Where they get the chalk.
Right. He just went overboard. He was like, I'm strong everywhere. You know, sort of. Right.
I'll be lifting myself up from my scalp.
Yeah. There you go. That's a good theory. Yeah. It's just too bad it's yeah, I'm going to stay away from spoilers. We got to watch. Anyway,
it's his. Yeah, we know what it is, and we know he's a family man.
Oh, that is dark, man. That's cold. Anyway, yeah, but point I was trying to say is like this, what we consider strong, and like if he is a Norse god, like
yeah.
All right, what do we know about Norse mythology? It's a bunch of gods that sit around in Asgard doing what all day?
Fighting and drinking and feasting.
Drinking and feasting. Like them 2 things alone, what do you get when you do that too much, Chris? You get fat.
You get a beer belly, yeah.
Right, you get a massive beer belly, but you're still strong because you're a god. Like, this is what you would look like. This is actually bang on perfect, like what I would consider.
Yeah.
Because if you
Baldur was very strong, wasn't he? And he was short, way shorter than Kratos, and he was ripped a bit, but he was he had a slender frame, you'd say.
Sure.
Athletic.
Athletic, yeah.
Yeah.
But, I don't know, like this whole discussion is hilarious.
But yeah, it's all made up because he's a god. It doesn't matter.
He just looks cool. Looks cool. That's it. And he looks cool like that. I mean, go and talk to Japanese people and ask them, like, what do they think about sumo wrestlers? You know,
They think strong.
They think strong. They think, wow, powerful. You know, like Thor is a god. Wow, strong, powerful. It sort of matches. I don't know. Like, the whole thing is weird. Like, yeah, it is. Like, if he was chiseled and skinny and stuff, people would have the opposite argument as well. Like, oh, why does he look like more like a normal person? Well, he's a god, sort of thing. It's like, okay, cool. Like, if the argument works both ways, then we shouldn't really be having the argument. You know, like, it's weird.
Yeah. It's funny what people, get weirded out about on Twitter.
The things that people get upset about, man. It just cracks me up.
Yeah, and we know that Atreus is a god, or do we?
I didn't know that. I'm joking.
Whoops, sorry, that was a spoiler.
Yeah, I mean, if you're watching this far and you like it, if you're watching God of War stuff, then yeah, I don't know. Like, you should probably know that.
And he's gangly as a kid. As a god, he's stuff. Spoilers, but he's got some stuff in him, and he's gangly. So we've got
Best
just within the two characters in the game that are like on the cover art. You got that
juxtaposition, right there.
Yeah, you got that. What's the word? One on the other side. Spectrum.
Yeah.
Oh, my Twitter thing's gone a bit weird. The live stream.
Oh well.
Has it gone weird? Are we still live?
No, we're still live. Still going.
Okay.
I think it's just you, if I'm honest.
Fine.
You and your crappy computer. Like, get a new one. I don't know what to tell you, Chris.
It's not on my phone. I'm looking at it.
That might be another reason. Our podcast is too powerful.
Sam said Gimli vibes. Yes, Gimli vibes.
Yeah, looks like Gimli. There you go.
Yeah. I never seen. Do you know what? I didn't get Gimli vibes, but now you've said that. Yes, maybe that's because he looked like familiar and looked like a kind of dwarf thing. But there are dwarves in the game.
Mm-hmm. Who are bald. Don't have long beards.
Bald.
Yeah. But they did. Yeah. If they did have long beards, then it'll be too closely associated with the Tolkien, like Middle Earth thing. But anyway, yeah, digress. Yeah, the whole controversy behind like Gen Z or like millennials getting upset about Fat Thor. Like, get a job. I don't
basically people get like, whenever there's a video game character, there's people that's gonna be upset, and it's because it's not what they're seeing.
Yeah,
it doesn't matter what it is, they're gonna get upset with what they're not seeing.
Yeah,
I mean, the when the women were upset about the big booby video game characters, that had a legitimate that was a legitimate grievance, but like,
yeah, I mean, the way I have sort of reconciled all of this, to me, it's just the developer's vision at the end of the day. That's it. Like, more women are coming into the industry now, so like over time, what will happen is we'll get more and more normalized women in video games, and the same will happen. But the irony is, like, of all of that is, like, we get guys that have been working in the industry for like this whole time, but we still get like Kratos looking triangle dudes everywhere, and it's like, okay, like where is the balance here? Like, and to me, it's like there's no real controversy to this. It's just, okay, the director wanted this sort of thing, so he put it in the game, and now he's happy. Like, last week we watched the PlayStation conference with Project Eve, and it's just like every shot was just like this girl's shiny ass like going past the screen, like every 5 seconds.
That's still there, still around. Still there. Yeah,
and like people are fine with that, but like, oh, you can't have a Fat Thor. You know, it's just like, what is happening? Like, just leave these people alone and let them finish their project. As long as they're not doing stuff that is like way out there to the point that it's like disrespectful. Like, that's a different thing altogether. Like, Project Eve could probably be seen as that. It's a bit disrespectful towards women in that respect. But like, again, like, should they be stopped from doing what they're doing? Absolutely not. Like, do whatever the hell you want. If people don't like it, they won't buy it, and if they do buy it and they don't like it, then they're idiots. Like, they need to vote with their wallets more. Like, this is all a part of the process, in my opinion. But yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, to me, it's more like, why was Fat Thor getting all the Twitter news, but no one was talking about Project Eve?
Because
when to me, the Project Eve was more crass.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of this is down to the like the IPs themselves and how much weight they have about certain things. And that works both ways as well. So if the game is like unknown, or if it's not as popular, then it will get trashed a lot more. Whereas,
sorry, Sam, I didn't mean to spoil that. It wasn't. It's not really a spoiler.
It's not really. Atreus is Kratos' the son of, like, you know that. Yeah. Like, he's obviously got some goddish stuff in him. Yeah. You'll be fine. Great game. You should go and play it. The fact that you haven't played it, you should be kicked off our chat right now. Get out of here.
Yeah. Who's not played this game already?
Yeah, come on, Sam. God damn it.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Spoiling my life.
Indeed. It's all good. Anyway, yeah, I can't remember what we're talking about. But anyway, stop fat shaming like characters from mythology in a video game that don't exist. Get a job. I don't know what to tell you. Like, if you don't like it, then don't buy it. If you don't buy it, then they won't do it again. Or maybe they will. Maybe you'll just keep coming. This is the problem. Like, everyone complains, but no one like votes with their wallet. So we're just gonna go in these circles forever and ever. Looking
Yeah,
forward to
it
the next
doesn't matter.
discussion about Skinny Thor. Yeah.
That'll be in a DLC. You like get the skinny Thor.
Oh God! I hope they do something with this, like a joke or something. Like one of the missions is like make Thor skinny, and like it fails or something. That'd be so funny.
Yeah,
Oh,
like you have to go and
please.
get an item like diet pills or something.
That'd be so funny. That'd be the
Like a
perfect
diet
way.
potion.
That'd be the
Yeah.
best way to sort of.
And he
counter
drinks it and it doesn't work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's just a load of people complaining at him, like, "Oh, you're too fat." So it's like, "No, you're too skinny." No, just that'd be great. Yeah, please.
Or Atreus addressing that situation. It's like, I'm a god, right? But why does Thor look like that and I look like this?
The whole thing is dumb. Like the whole thing is dumb.
And Kratos would be like, "Shut up, boy.
Yeah.
Like, this does not concern you, boy. Things are the way they are."
Awesome.
This
Anyway,
is an artist's interpretation.
we need to wrap this up. We've been rambling on way too long.
Yes.
But yeah, everyone, thank you for joining us. We really appreciate it. If you did enjoy the podcast, and please, as we mentioned at the beginning, before we had to restart everything all over again, please subscribe, like, comment, all that sort of good stuff. Please share with a friend. We would really appreciate that. But also hit the bell icon so you can be notified when we do put out a new episode, which is normally every Sunday or Monday-ish. Depends if we mess up the recording and we have to edit it. But today,
Yes.
it looks pretty
And
good.
the audio version is usually a couple of days after the
Correct.
YouTube version.
Yeah.
So if you're listening on Spotify or Apple Podcasts or any other audio streaming service, you'll be thinking, "What? This is not a Monday or a Sunday. What are you talking about?"
This
So
is
that's
true.
why it's a little bit later.
Indeed. But yeah, anything else, Chris, before we close out?
Nothing else from me
Cool.
except to ask, where can we find you when we're not listening to you or watching even?
Cool. Yeah, that's creepy that people even do that, I guess. But anyway, yeah, you can find me on Twitter. I am at Hillfort Games. You can find me on there, and some of my finger paintings as well as some of my indie game stuff. I've started working on that again yesterday, but I should have more updates for that soon, I hope. Anyway.
And when are we going to have the... I want the extraction, Rainbow Six Siege extraction artwork. When can we see that? Is that when
After the
out?
game's out. Yeah, that's how NDAs work. Sorry, you don't
Okay.
get artwork before, otherwise it'll spoil it, you moron. Like, what do you think was going to happen? Anyway, Chris, where can people find you?
On Twitter, I'm at Acrylic Pixel, and got my YouTube channel, which is Acrylic Pixel, where I'm doing my indie game stuff. If you want to check that out too.
Sweet. Yeah, Sam just mentioned get Thor a diet Pilsner. Yeah, I agree. Can you imagine that at the long table, like all the gods sat there, like overweight,
It's got like a
And
Bud Light,
and then
Coors
Thor is
Light
just
or
like
something.
sipping on it. Yeah, that'd be great. I'd love that. That should be the side quest. But yeah, anyway, thank you very much for joining us, especially Sam and Rachel for joining us in the chat. I
in the
really
chat.
appreciate
That was
it.
really good. Yeah, thank
Kept
you.
it lively. Yeah, I could just hear a crack.
That got
up in the
picked up. Yeah, that got picked up.
Awesome. Great. Anyway, yeah, until next time, guys, thank you very much, and we'll catch you later.
Okay, take care.
Bye-bye.